Yes, what's up, man? We're back with a new live, and we've got a great guest on tonight. He's been on the show before, pro boxing trainer, owns a boxing gym in Essex. He can tell us more about it. We got my man's Mark Massow. He's also a journalist. He has been published in Boxing News. So we welcome Mark Massow into the house. I'm not calling him Henry Massow, which I've done by mistake before. Hey, Mark, it's great to see you. In you come, brother.
Hello.
Bingo.
You all right?
Yes, brother. How
That's
good
good.
to see you, bro.
Yeah, and yourself. All
Can
good?
you hear me and see me all right?
Yeah. Just turn that up there. That's it. Good. You all right?
Lovely. It's great to see you again. You've been on the show before. People really enjoyed it. It's great to see an honest guy in boxing, a guy who's red-pilled, and, this is your show, bro. This is your show. How are you?
Yeah, all good. It's been a busy time. I know the industry's had a bit of bad news at the weekend, but it's been a busy time for me. I know you've done a show on it the other night, didn't you? It's about Ricky Hatton. Everyone's still sort of reeling from that, all those that are close to him. But me personally, been busy. It's all good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still shocked every morning, to be honest with you. I know I've had a pop at Ricky, but it's light-hearted. But, and there's some things I don't agree with, but, he was well-loved. He was a lovely boxer. At one point, I've been to several of his fights, including abroad. And, unfortunately, what ruined him? I mean, what do you think? I mean, there's a number of things, right? The problems with the family, the problems with the trainer, the drug and alcohol issues, the mental issues. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a strange one because, like everyone, you never get anyone say a bad word against him. You hear these stories and they say, "Oh yeah, he's like that on camera," and then they'll come out with a story.
Yeah.
Oh, I was there when a kid queued up for 3 hours to get an autograph and he just dismissed him. There's no stories like that about Hatton, is there? You never you sort of you saw what he was, and that was him. There was no sort of airs and graces about him. No one had a bad word to say about him. He was just like the local boy made good. But and everyone. But if you look at his recent videos, I know it's all in hindsight. I wasn't like close to him, so it's not like I'd pick up on anything. But his recent videos, there just seems something sort of vacant about his look. He was saying all the right things. Like if you go back, they're still up there. Still, you can still view them. It's like he was saying all the right things, like real down to earth, genuine bloke. But his eyes, it just seemed to be something troubling him. And
you're not the first person to say that. You're not the first person. Looks like your microwave's ready. Your microwave's ready. What's that mean?
Not me. Don't know.
Shit, maybe it's me, mate. Maybe I've got no idea where the fuck that's coming from, bro.
Oh, maybe it'll stop in a minute.
Is it? It's not from you, so it must be from me.
I'll check. Hold on.
It's gone. It stopped. It stopped anyway, bro. I don't know. I've got a fire alarm, but I've got nothing cooking, so. Anyway, here we are. So, Mark Massow, pro boxing trainer. He's got a lovely gym. Check it out. Mark can talk about it. You know, if you want to ask any questions, please do. It's obviously easier. I'm not fishing for super checks, but I'm concentrating on our conversation. So if there are any problems, I mean, if you really want a question, even if you super check £1, I'll see it, because I have to concentrate on the interview. But
we're back. So
oh, thanks, bro. Great to see you. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, Ricky.
Yeah. Like he was putting up posts, saying all the right things, you know, coming across all right, everything was supposedly all right, but he just had this sort of look in his eyes where he just didn't seem right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know you touched on it the other day, but he didn't look healthy, did he?
No, and I had a lot of people say that, even in you see in comments in newspaper articles, he didn't look right in the eyes.
Yeah.
And he looked old. He had bald patches on his scalp, and I mean, who knows what happened? I find it a bit odd they haven't released anything about the cause, and people say, "Oh, it doesn't matter," but everything matters. Number one, number two. If someone close to you passes, your first question is, "Oh no." We say, "Oh no, oh no."
Yeah.
What happened? That's the first question on everyone's lips. And so it's completely normal for people to think about it. And it's a terrible shock. I've got a text and I was like, "We've lost Ricky." And I was like, I thought it was a joke. I still find it hard to get my head around at that age, at a young age.
Yeah. And I know, like, me personally, as soon as you hear a 46-year-old ex-sportsman has been found dead, straight away, like my thinking nowadays is, especially he was the old poison juice. Straight away you think that. But I know he had an history of depression, and he didn't look at his recent posts. He didn't look right. Do you know what I mean? He was saying all the right things, but he just didn't look himself. And I know it's shaved his hair recently. I'm not sure what that was all about. I know people go through different stages.
I think he had alopecia as well. There were bald patches. You can see that on his head.
It was, yeah, possibly.
And you know, he was ready for a fight, but he was obviously not in great shape, because I've seen him on the bag. But I think there's a lot of things that happen in Ricky's life. He got ripped off by his own family. Let's be clear here, right? It's difficult. Some people say it's wrong. You shouldn't be talking about that. No, Ray Hatton ripped him off. They didn't speak for 8 years. The Billy Graham fallout, and then the couple of losses to Pacquiao, especially, and then Shevchenko, and you know, he kind of started to unwind, didn't he? He kind of the thread started to come off, didn't he? And it's a tragic thing, because he was so well liked. And like you said, Mark, this is the important point. I have never heard a bad word said about him.
Nah.
Of course, I'd give him some grief and all that. And there's a few things like the git mask and the over. I was a little bit, this is a bit odd. But as a person, I'd never heard bad words said about him.
Yeah. I mean, all his faults was stuff that he had owned up to, like all the hard, like the drugs he had done and all the depression he had had over the years. That was all public knowledge. He had had interview. That wasn't someone selling the story to the papers. He had come forward with all that himself. So there wasn't like any of these sort of scandals out there that people was trying to earn off the back of his name and all that, because he was quite upfront with all the problems he had had.
No, absolutely, he was, wasn't he? It's not like he was trying to hide it, was he?
No. And a lot of the time he'd speak about it to try and help other people. That's how it seemed. He's like, he was sort of saying to people, like, this has happened to me, the sort of bloke I am, it can happen to anyone. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, it was just terrible. I mean, I didn't know him. I weren't like a friend of his, but for those that are close to him, to me, he's a boxer who all sort of grown up watching. Yeah. I've followed him from an amateur.
Me too. Yeah.
He's known as Richard Hatton. He was Richard Hatton.
He turned pro as Richard Hatton, didn't he? Yeah, you remember, I watched his second fight in America. He got a bad cut. And my mate, I hadn't heard of him until then. My mate goes, this guy's going to be something special. And I seen him get a cut. And he didn't struggle, but obviously with a bad cut, you're always going to struggle. And he won. And I I didn't. It's weird. I was young then. I didn't know my boxing well enough to realise how good he was, the class he was, the pressure, the body shots. You know,
Yeah, he was good.
the footwork, his footwork was super. People don't talk about it, do they?
No, I know. Well, because he was so like headstrong, all the little subtle things he done sort of went under the radar, really, unless you was specifically looking out for him. But I remember I see him as a 16-year-old on a club show, an amateur club show. Wow. And he come down. It was being held in Dagenham, and he come down because if he wasn't in a championship, he was hard to match because he was just beating everyone. He was like a 16-year-old, looked like about 22. He had the body.
I don't know. I thought he looked like a boy. He had a boyish
I was going to say that's what I was going to say. His body was like a man, but he had like a young look about him. He had this floppy hair. He had like floppy blonde hair, like a sort of an innocent looking face. But he was like he was built like a bloke. And he come down. He won this. It was on a club show in Dagenham, and he was 16 at the time. And I think he turned pro. Was he about 18 or 19?
I think he was 18.
Yeah, because it was a couple of years after.
He got robbed in, I think it was the World Juniors or something like that. Yeah, the terrible decision went against him.
Yeah,
and he turned pro, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he was the first boxer to make their name on Sky. Like so,
purely on Sky.
Yeah, so all the other ones, they made their name on terrestrial telly and then got signed over to Sky.
Yeah, Hamed, Ben, all these guys.
Yeah, that's it, all that lot.
Yeah.
Whereas he signed with Warren and he was initially put on Sky and he was the first boxer they built up on satellite telly, wasn't he?
Totally true. And he still was a massive name. I mean, it's almost like, I know it's easy to say, it's very hard for boxers, especially big name boxers when they retire. You know, it's almost like he's a bit lost with boxing because he kept on coming back to it, didn't he? He kept on coming back. Because without it, and people go, oh, he had no identity once he stopped boxing. That's rubbish because he was always loved. Everyone recognized him everywhere. He went to any pub, anyone would buy him a drink. You know, he was one of them guys that was going to last forever, his fame. But he was lost without the, I would say, the regime of boxing, you know?
Yeah, the purpose of it, getting up every day, training. He'd lost that, and just a terrible thing. I mean, it makes you. It's surprising he kept his money because he would have been so vulnerable. To just plough his money into things just to keep himself busy. It does make you like he done well because he seemed to still live a good life. He looked like
he did, didn't he? I mean, he was a trainer, a promoter, and a manager, but none of them really gripped him in the same way as boxing. He always wanted to fight. He come back, didn't he? Shevchenko. Was it Shevchenko or Shevchenko? I forget. And then I won a lot of money on that fight because I thought he's just past it now, and he's got that style that burns out early. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he come back with Barrera, and actually, I thought he looked really good against Marco Antonio Barrera. And I mean, considering what it was at his age, I was shocked. And now he's got a new one, and it's almost like, but he was taken advantage of by his own family, and you cannot go back from that. We only need to search. He didn't speak to his dad for 8 years. You know, Ray Hatton.
I knew that like it all got a bit messy, but I think in the end they just drew a line, and it was a case of, look, whoever's to blame, you know, let it go. Because I think in the end he probably felt he was right, and it's like, I ain't going to see him ever again. I need to draw a line under it, and you know, just move on, really. And I think that's
family's more important ultimately, you know, and the things like this hopefully makes people realise that the petty squabbles, you've got to draw a line under it, but. Yeah, I mean, it's tragic. I mean, I've written a bunch of stuff I want to talk to you about because a lot has been, after being a really dry time in boxing, there's been a lot happening, wasn't there? A big weekend. But I wanted to talk about your man. So you had a boy boxing last week, is that right? Now, I don't know if I pronounced it right. Peter Merger. Peter or Piotr? How do you pronounce it?
So he's Peter. It's basically, he's from Poland. And that's the spelling of it. But it was all set up for an English title challenge. It was mandatory for the English bantamweight training all going well. Everything was sort of, we was the underdogs, but it was all going well. And then 10
who's
days
he
out,
boxing? Who's he boxing?
there's a fella from Hull called Logan Richardson,
Right.
who hadn't had many, but he was at that level. He was good. You know what I mean? For that level.
Yeah.
And 10 days out from the contest, he decided he didn't want to box anymore, so he relinquished the title and retired.
What, he just retired? Tony just suddenly
Yeah,
retired?
yeah, with 10 days to go.
Wow.
We'd had so Peter's manager, Steve Goodwin, he managed to get a replacement.
Yeah.
I was never convinced that the bloke could go through with it, but we was told he was gonna. And then 4 days out, we gets told the bloke sprained his ankle.
What?
So that's now off. And so with 4 days to go, we didn't have a chance to replace someone of a title caliber. So he had a 6-round win against a journeyman. He
won on points, right?
Yeah,
I saw it in Boxing News.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. The danger with that was we took it. The fella was a sort of a super feather stroke lightweight. He hadn't come with much ambition, but he was a lot heavier.
What's Peter weighing at?
He boxes at bantamweight.
Right. Okay. Okay. That's a big weight difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So he agreed to come in at like just over featherweight. The other fella was just going to come into like a super feather, and to sort of make it sort of equal, if you like, as near as they could on the scales. But that was the only danger. The bloke was one of these tough Nicaraguan fellas. Ain't got much ambition, but was a lot bigger. And it was a case of if he swings one, you could like sort of walk onto one. So it was just a sensible sort of points.
Right. But,
and
just make sure you box right, you keep out of trouble, because also, right, there's some journeymen who are like, they've got a big loss record, but if they feel ambitious, they can still land a big shot. There's loads of them guys. Or do you remember Peter Buckley? Of course, we all know Peter Buckley, right? Yeah. If you tried to hurt Peter Buckley, he'd get pissed off sometimes. I've seen him stop a prospect in 1 round because the guy tried to bang him out and he got angry. He banged. He ended up stopping the prospect. Matt Brown, his name was. Matt Brown, and he stopped him in the round.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so all these boxing's always, you've got it's going to be dangerous. There's loads of journeymen. Who are those journeymen that could really bang, like Tony Booth, someone like him?
Yeah.
Remember Tony Booth, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy that took the mick out of him, so did the Ali shuffle and then knocked him out. I mean, it's correct, So even if it's a late call, especially if you're giving away weight, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, that was the thing. We knew the fellow sort of doesn't normally like try too hard as long as you show him a bit of respect. It's just a case of getting the points, getting out there, and moving on, because we're waiting for a date to be confirmed now for the vacant title. That'll be
good work. Nice, very nice, very nice. I mean, that's a shame, but that's boxing, isn't it? And you imagine it's a nightmare for you, it's a nightmare for the fighter, but it's more of a nightmare for the promoter and the matchmaker, because they're like, we got to find someone. He sold X tickets, because apparently there's loads of Polish fans that follow Peter. Yes.
Yeah, it does.
Because I read in the Boxing News, there was loads. He had loads of fans there. He sold loads of tickets, and suddenly you can't lose. You've got to get a replacement at the last minute.
Yeah. No, it's all about ticket sales, isn't it? When the shows are not on telly, and it's sold a load of tickets, and it was a bit of a dilemma. It's like, I've got to hand all the tickets back, and we was like, look, just get a 6-rounder out, all that training he had done and all the rest of it, and like give your fans a night out, really. So
well, that's what they're out for, isn't it? It's like the small boxing shows are hard to make a profit from without TV. Obviously, these days, if you're clever, you can if you've got a YouTube channel or an agreement with YouTube, you can stream it, but it's still the same. There's not a lot of money in that streaming. The money is from the ticket sales, right? You have to sell the tickets. And that's why there's a lot of money in white collar boxing, because they sell all the tickets and you get all the money if you're the promoter. It's not like I have to give 10-20% back to the fighter. I don't have to pay the fighter. I don't have to give them ticket sale percentage. I don't have to pay for this, that, and the other. British Boxing Board. I don't have to pay. I don't have to pay any of this.
Mm.
There's a lot of money in white collar boxing.
Yeah, I know. It's a shame. Like all this money that I know everyone goes on about the Saudi money and the millionaires are becoming multi-millionaires.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. Like the board oversee them shows out in Saudi. It's a shame some of the money can't trickle down somehow to the grassroots. Do you know what I mean? I know it's not as simple as that, but it's a shame that there's a lot of money to be earned out on them Saudi shows, but it's the millionaires are being made multi-millionaires and the money's not filtering through, isn't it?
I mean, and I mean, okay, the British book. I know you have to watch what you say, but I don't. Right, the British Boxing Board of Control are private. They're a limited company, a private company. They make a lot of profit, and they've got something like they've got £1 million or something in the bank. You can see their accounts on Companies House.
Right. Yeah.
Right now, they have to have a bit of a. One of the reasons they need that money, you could argue, is because if something goes badly wrong, they get sued. They need that money, otherwise they're out of business. Like the Michael Watson incident, they were very close to going broke. Yeah. Right. So, but all the same, it's still a private limited company. You know. It's a for-profit company. So, you know, when you got David A fighting Chisora, they got what, Luxembourg licenses, didn't they? Or something like that. Well, David A did. And I respect that. I'm like, yeah, you understood the game. The David A promoted himself, you know, and he was very clever. Unfortunately, he's lost a lot of money for getting divorced, but and for partying too much. But that's another issue, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. No, I know. Like I know them at the board. I know like a few of them at the board, and they're decent people, you know. And I know they've got an hard job to do. But like I know it's not easy. Sat back criticising, and if I'd done it, I'd do it this way. And I know it's like that's not how life works. But it would be nice if somehow, like this Saudi, I don't know how much the board earn out of these shows. I know they oversee them.
To be frank, I don't know.
No, I mean, you would think like the ball tax on shows, and maybe it's different. I don't know, but you would think they've done a nice little deal to be able to send over officials and all.
No doubt. I mean, that's the thing with pro shows. You got to pay for the officials, the refs, the judges. You know, the location. You got to pay for the British Boxing Board license. You got to pay a lot. Whereas white collar doesn't matter, man. But
I suppose like the Saudis, they're in it to promote the best boxing. They're not in it to help British boxing out, are they? Grassroots, that's their argument. But it's a shame some of the money can't filter through. But then how much in the Premiership filters through to the bottom rungs there? I don't know, probably not.
Yeah, and they do. Well, this is interesting, right? Without further ado, guys, Chris Eubank called the British Boxing Board of Control for his fines, where the money has gone and what it's been used. How much was he fined for that egg? It was like 200 grand or something. Ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I think it was 100 grand. So the fines, the fines go to the benevolent fund, which is like the board's charity.
Oh, was that right? Okay.
Yeah, so that goes to the board's charity to help like boxers in need. I don't know who they deem in need, but I know that's the party line. So any fines, if that's a fine from the board, then that's where the money goes. If it's a fine, so say because he failed the weight, didn't he? So he then got fined again for failing the weight. But that was in the contract. So that's a contract issue, and that money goes to the opponent. If it's a fine, so if it's a fine from the board, the money goes to the benevolent fund, their charity. If it's a fine via your contract, then it's however the contract's worded, and now that was worded. If he missed the weight, the money went to Ben.
There's also, isn't there a Professional Boxers Association? I don't know how much. There's an official charity. They quite often take out adverts in boxing news. I don't think this one's got one, which is a charity that's. I mean, obviously, I don't know how much income they got. That looks after ex-boxers. Do you know anything about this?
Yeah, that's the Ringside Charitable Trust.
Right.
And
that's it.
Yeah, the Ringside Charitable Trust. So what that is, that's a charity. It's an independent charity that helps ex-boxers in need. and ultimately their aim is to purchase a care home,
Right.
and have it. All the residents of the care home will be ex-boxers, and it
Right.
will be all kitted out and revolved around boxing. So they'll have a cinema with showing old fight films and all that. So at the moment, it's a charity to help ex-boxers in need, but
Yeah.
long term, they want to purchase an actual care home. But they're in the process of raising
Right.
money for that. Because
I mean,
it's all right
as long
getting
as
the
it's
money.
run properly, as long as it's
Yeah.
run properly and efficiently,
Yeah.
because, like, okay, my boy here says, without further ado, charity's the easy way to make money, disappear and evade tax. That's true. And there's a lot of big charities that like only 10% of the money goes towards the cause, and the rest
Yeah.
goes to admin, paying people's salaries, directors' salaries, all this kind of bonuses, all this kind of stuff. So, but that's why I only give to small charities, and to if I see homeless old people in the street, they always get my money, because they should not be there, man. And and whatever their problems, their drug problems, their drink, I don't care. To see old people on the street breaks my heart, you know. Anyway, it's thank you for that. It's good knowledge. I wanted to ask you about the fights, right? So there was a lot of fights this weekend. Now, to me, there were 3 big robberies, right? I don't know what your thoughts are. I'd like to hear what you say. But I thought Donovan was robbed against Crocker. I thought Ivan Ditchko was robbed against Franklin, and I thought Ishmael Davis was robbed against Agyarko. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that was all close enough for argument. It was one of them. Like, that was all close enough for argument, but it was a tricky one. The Donovan fight, I thought Crocker went in with the right attitude. I liked what he done at the head-to-head. I think it was at the weigh-in. And I did wonder how he was going to approach that, because he was getting well beat last time. And he basically got beat and Donovan got disqualified, but he was getting well beat. He was about to get stopped probably, wasn't he? And then he ended up winning on his
no doubt. And I don't think he heard the bell, Donovan. And the referee did not do his job. The referee should have been ready to jump in and split them up. Yeah, because he knew what was happening. He just gave him a count, and he knows the bell's about to go. He should have jumped in. I mean, it's easy to say from us looking, right? But so did you think Donovan won the fight or Crocker won the fight? The second one.
I thought Donovan possibly could have nicked it, but I don't. You know, when sometimes there's like sentimental favourites, but I don't think the judges were swayed by that. But he was on his own patch, and I think there was a lot of support for him, wasn't there? You know, when they cheer every single thing.
Yeah. Also, he dropped Donovan twice. Now that graphically, that looks very bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that's 2 8-10 rounds to Crocker. But I thought he lost the majority of the rounds, and it's quite rare to have someone drop twice but still win the fight. But I thought this was one case.
Yeah,
I did think Donovan won.
I thought he might have just about nicked it.
Did you watch on the same bill Ishmael Davis vs Agyarko?
I only see bits of it. I didn't see all of it, but I knew after that a lot of people were saying the wrong man got it. I did see bits of it, and it's hard to say when you ain't seen it all. But he looked like he was doing well, didn't he?
I did live, and actually in the first round, which Davis absolutely dominated, I thought he's going to stop Agyarko, but Agyarko really picked his game up. He changed the way he was boxing. Davis started to neglect his jab, but I definitely think I thought, and there was a knockdown in the final round, so you got to count that 8-10.
Yeah.
And I mean, the boxing scoring system we all know is flawed anyway. You know what I mean? But I thought Davis deserved that. Did you watch Ditchko vs Jermaine Franklin?
I only see the highlights. And it's hard. You sort of they can pick out the best bits, can't they, of the person?
Of course. So
it's a bit like it's a tricky one.
Yeah, you could get absolutely. It's very, if you edit something, you can make anyone look like a winner.
Yeah, I know,
but having watched it, I thought Ditchko probably, and he was very disappointing. Don't get me wrong, For a guy who had 2 bronze medals, who was unbeaten, 15 fights with 14 KOs, he was very negative. I don't know what's happened with him. He's from Kazakhstan, right? This is the weird thing, right? Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, by the way, in the World Amateur Championships recently, won every single gold medal. In the I'm talking male. I'm only interested in male boxing.
Yeah.
They won every single gold medal. And Boxing News, right, had the amateur world rankings. Every single top guy is either from Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan, which is kind of, most of them are Uzbeks, which is nuts, really, if you think about it. Like, and Uzbekistan, like, you know, Bakodir Jalolov, right? So they gave him over $1 million for winning gold medal, which he's done twice. And they make so much money from being amateurs that you wonder, what's the point of turning pro?
I know. They're good, aren't they? They've got that system. Like, they've taken a while to get there, but they've worked out a system now, haven't they?
Yes.
And,
yes.
They're good. They're good at it. I don't know what the answer is. Are they going to sort of be the next ones that dominate like the Americans used to?
The new Cubans. They're the new Cubans. Yeah. Because I think that they put a lot of money into it and they give them huge bonuses. I mean, look, I'm not being funny, right? I've never been to Kazakhstan, but $1 million in Kazakhstan probably goes a long way.
Can you
right?
imagine? Yeah.
And you know, if you're getting that for a gold medal or world championship medal, why bother turning pro? Like the Italians for years had loads of good amateurs, didn't they? Damiani, Camarelli, Clemente Russo, right? But these guys, actually, Damiani did turn pro, but a lot of these guys would just stay amateur, and they were like policemen or, you know, firemen. Yeah. They get a salary plus bonuses. Yeah. Yeah. And why would you? I mean, why would you want to risk your health and fight 12 hard rounds with no air guard, or, you know, or fight three frees and then get, you know, great paydays?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I know it does make you wonder. I know the people on the GB team are on sort of good money-ish, but for amateurs, but it's not life-changing money. Where some of these countries, they're giving them life-changing bonuses, aren't they? You know what I mean? It's not...
And remember, right? You remember back in the day, every amateur boxer had a job. They would be working their ass off all day and then training in the evening, and they would have no bonuses, no money, no funding. Audley Harrison kind of changed that, so you got to give Audley credit. Yeah, you know. And then they fund the GB team, and they got sponsorships, and you know, if you're an amateur making 90 grand a year, it's not bad.
Yeah, right. No, it's a funny one, Audley Harrison, because it's like, he wasn't very well liked, but he fought for the boxer, didn't he? Like, behind the scenes, he was negotiating for the boxers, and he was saying at the time, if you want us to win things, you got to start paying us, and we'll take it seriously. It's like, we're competing with nations who train for a living, they box for a living. Where they're doing like one training session a month down at Crystal Palace on the GB team. Around their work, like milkmen and odd carriers, and exactly. That. And he's like, you need to start paying us, and he fought for it, won it over, won a gold, but he carried that attitude into the pros, and he weren't liked for it because he's like,
I know. I thought it was a bit unfair because, frankly, and I think, okay, I might be wrong, but he was one of the first ones to actually promote himself, right? And he had his own promotional company, and he negotiated a great deal with the BBC. And he opened people's eyes. Like David A as well, he had his own promotional company, A-Maker. Yeah. So he opened people's eyes. I've just got to say, okay, Henry Armstrong says, great live, great guest, nothing beats real talk. Thank you. And that's why we've got Mark on, because he's a boxing man and he knows this stuff. And Henry Armstrong very kindly just gave me £19.99. I have to say thanks for that. That's very, very, very generous. So thank you for that. But it is great to hear from a real, you know, it's great to have a real, someone who's at the grassroots of boxing, who knows his boxing.
It was
on the show.
It was funny.
Thank you.
It was funny because I was working for Frank Maloney at the time when Audley Harrison turned pro, and what happened? They wanted to like all the big promoters wanted to sign him.
Right.
But he wanted to. Why he ended up going on his own? He set up his own company called A Force.
Yes.
And that was his own promotional company. And what the stumbling block was, as much as the big promoters wanted him, he wanted to know like what was on the table. So he was saying, right, if you're paying me this much, how much have you got to pay me that you're keeping back for yourself?
Good on him.
And yeah, and at the time, because I was working for Maloney, and I remember they was talking about it, and he was coming across as stroppy, but he was saying, well, I'm the one who's getting in the ring. I want to know how much money's on the table. And because he was seen at the time as a bit awkward, and it was like, you know, like the blokes being awkward, this ain't normally happening. What normally happens is we tell you how much you're getting, and if you're happy with it, you go with it. If you're not, you can go elsewhere. But he wanted to know more than that. He wanted to know.
And I think good on him for taking charge of his own career. Like there's that video on Mickey Duff, and there's a bunch of ex-boxers, including Mark Kaler. It's on YouTube. I don't know what it's called. And they're all saying we had no clue, and we didn't know anything. And also, this is pre-internet, so you didn't have access to the same knowledge that now you could get. And they said we just thought, well, he's the biggest promoter. He's got a deal with the BBC. Well, what else are we going to do? Yeah. And you know, they were like, well, we thought we were being striped, but afterwards it was a bit late. I can't remember who it is. Mark Kaler, is it Pat Barrett or someone like that? And mate, I don't know. There's 3 of them discussing it in a YouTube video. I can't remember what it is.
It was a documentary.
Mark Reefer, maybe Mark Reefer. I can't remember.
It was a documentary by a bloke called I think it's Ron Peck, and Mark Tibbs was on it. Jimmy Tibbs' son. Mark Kaler was making a comeback at the time, and so they sort of showed Kaler was like the star of it. And he was in on his comeback, but then they had some young boxers on the way up as well, sort of on the undercard, and I was interviewing them all, weren't they? Sort of about how they're getting on and this, that, and the other. And there was a few. Dean Ollington was on there. He ended up a border control inspector. He retired. I don't know if you remember when Bradley Stone got killed in a British.
Of course, yeah.
They was all mates with him. And when he died, it sort of hit them all pretty bad, as you can imagine. And Dean Ollington, who was a bit of a prospect himself, he jacked it in. He said, I can't do it anymore. And he became a bald inspector. But that's a bit of a cult film, that thing you're talking about.
It is. But, I mean, the problem with all these actually a lovely guy by all reports. The problem is he also got a bit cocky. So he started bragging, I could win the British title tomorrow. I could do this, I could do it. And also he upset the boxing establishment, which, by the way, I've got no problem with, because I want the boxers to be paid. They're the ones taking the risk. They're the ones bringing in the views. Promoter plays his part, but he's not getting punched in the head. You know what I mean? And so, you know, unfortunately, he started to get a bit cocky, and the press turned a bit against him. And the press, it's like Joe Bugner, right? So I did a bit of a video on Joe. And I was like, to me, it's disgraceful the way he was given a hard time by Harry Carpenter, even though, when he beat Henry Cooper. Obviously, he's much loved Henry Cooper, but that's not his fault. Yeah. You know, he didn't give the decision, and he got given a load of grief in the press. Oh, he's a coward. He's a son. I'm like, this is even I remember like looking back on his career. I was like, why was he treated like that? Why was he treated like that? You know.
Yeah, well, I think he said it himself, they like a bad guy, don't they, to sort of, there has to be a villain of the piece. But if you read like his, some of the interviews he done, he said they stitched me right up. He said when he fought Ali twice, didn't he? And
he fought Fraser and Ali in 2 fights, one after the other.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit special, really. That the 70s was like the hardest heavyweight era, if you like, and he did go in with all of them. But I remember one story: he fought Ali, got beat, and Ali went off to hospital with dehydration. Yeah, and that's right. Bugner was. He said, I was just hanging around, and they said to me, look, jump in the swimming pool, and we'll get some photos of you in the swimming pool. They said, you've just gone a distance with Ali. We'll do like a little article on the fight. So he said, I'll get in the swimming pool.
And they stitched him up, I bet.
Yeah. He said the next day, the story was, Ali's gone to hospital, tried that hard. He's in hospital with dehydration.
Man.
didn't try that hard. Look, he's now in the swimming pool doing.
That's disgraceful.
He
But
said, like, they told me jump in there and we'll get some photos. And they run the story that that's how hard he tried. The winner's gone hospital with dehydration. Bugner's doing lamps in the swimming pool. Yeah, he said that was the sort of thing they was doing to him. You know? It's like,
no, I mean, back in the day, you could only rely on the mainstream papers and media because that's all you had. Whereas now people are a bit more clued up because we've got all kinds of people and, you know, all kinds of methods, the internet. It makes people more clued up. But Bugner was treated terribly. No wonder he went to Australia and called himself Aussie Joe.
Yeah,
do you know what I said in my video, right? Do you remember J.A. Bugner, Joe Bugner Jr., his son?
His son,
right. He was pro. He got, I think, 9-2 record. He was actually boxing when Joe Bugner Sr., his dad, was boxing. And I thought, imagine if they matched them two, man. I'm not being funny. What kind of money would that make? I know, I mean, especially these days, you imagine, right? Joe Bugner Sr. v. Joe Bugner Jr. Yeah. That would have been a sellout, man.
Someone has staged it. Someone has staged that. They love a pound note, don't they?
Oh, I mean, come on, mate. And there was a pound note there. Right, so, Canelo, obviously, we'll talk about a bit now. My feeling is this. I'll ask you what you think in a minute. I thought Canelo, right, he's 35. He's been pro since he's 15. 15, imagine that, right? He's had, 70 fights or whatnot? Or around 70. Right. Yeah. He did look flat-footed. I thought Crawford had done his business very well, although there's a bit of suspicion with how he got to be that big so quickly. But he'd done the business well. But Canelo just looked flat-footed. He looked like he didn't know how to cut off the ring. It's easy for us to say, right, from the outside. But he looked flat-footed. He didn't throw combinations. He looked bored. He looked like he didn't really want to be there. What are your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, beforehand, I thought he'd win. I thought he'd win on points.
Yeah,
but
me too.
But I just thought he's that much bigger. I thought he had lost a bit. The last 18 months, he just took his foot off the pedal. Really, he sort of in the past where he was getting rid of them. Now he had an attitude of sort of he was happy to go the distance and outpoint them. Whereas 18 months, 2 years ago, and before then, he had a bit more urgency about him. And I thought, but I just thought, as much as Crawford's got a chance, I just thought that when he starts getting it, he's going to get discouraged. And
that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Thing is, like, he just outboxed him, didn't he? He was like,
but Crawford's actually older, but he hasn't had as many hard fights. Yeah. I mean, Canelo's done like almost 600 rounds from the age of 15. And there is this thing where if you're the promoter's favorite, if you go to distance, you imagine you're going to get, unless you're completely outboxed, you imagine you're going to get, it started with Mayweather, Hopkins, who else? De La Hoya, Mosley to some extent, where they would go for points every time and then they get a rematch and they would all get paid again. So I was a bit disappointed with Canelo, but I honestly think he's probably shot one, right?
Yeah, I think he looked at it. And as a contest, it wasn't that good. I didn't think it was.
I didn't expect it to be, though. Did you expect it to be?
I just thought he might have put it on him a bit more, but it was like lost the first 3 rounds or whatever it was, and it was all right, you've lost the first 3 rounds, but you've sort of sussed him out now, so you need to sort of start going through the gears, and he never did he? He
didn't up his work rate, did he? I mean, I know it's always easy for us to see. Yeah. We don't know how he was with the weight. We don't know how training camp was. Was he carrying injuries? You know how sometimes, right, you might go and you spar or something, or you have a fight, and everything's perfect. And you always think you're going to be that good, but some days it's just not there, and you're getting beaten up by guys that you're like, hang on a minute, I think I should be winning this. And I do think Canelo slightly underperformed. I do think he's had enough. You got to give Crawford credit, there's no doubt. The whole him getting up that much in weight and looking so ripped and muscular is suspicious. That's all I'm saying. He's also promoted by Snack. His whole team had Snack written all over their clothes. So you've got to, you know what that means, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's the thing is, it's like in on the face of it, he just had an answer for everything, didn't he? Every time Canelo did try and put it on him a bit, he just had an answer. And in the end, it was like the rounds were very similar. I know there was a couple of good rounds where they went for it a bit,
yeah.
but Crawford just had an answer, didn't he? Do you know
No,
what
I mean, I thought Crawford was wary of the power. He certainly felt the body shots, but they did exchange a couple of times. But it was as I predicted. It wasn't going to be an exciting fight. It was going to go the distance. I thought Canelo would edge it, and
that's what I thought. Yeah,
but okay. So the future fights now. These are the ones I'm looking forward to. There's not a lot lined up, is there? Right? No, I'm not interested in Conor Ben Eubank Jr. I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I mean, I'll watch it. I won't pay for it, but I'll watch it. But for me, the most interesting fight, Dave Allen, Aslanbek Makhmudov. Which what do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
He's good, isn't he, Dave Allen? He's a sort of he's like a poor man's Hatton, isn't he? Like sort of down to earth. Sort of tells it straight. He's got no airs and graces. He sort of you get what you see with him, but I just don't know if he can go up. I don't know if he's sort of found his level. Do you know what I mean? He seems to me as one of them that he'll give the better ones a good run for their money.
Yeah,
not going to beat them.
I mean, I put £20 on Makhmudov as soon as it came out. It's still roughly evens because I'm just like. At a top level, I mean, I'm not saying Makhmudov is top level. He's had a couple of defeats, and both of them I won money on. But Caballero, to me, is the number 2 heavyweight in the world, by the way. And I made a video on him like 3 years ago. People are underrating him because he hasn't been in the press. He hasn't been talked about. He's not American. He's not British. He's not. Don't realize how good he is. And Vianello outboxed him. Obviously, his eye was shut, but he's still a very. Dave Allen is a tough guy, but he's not hard to hit. He's not hard to hit, and this is where the danger comes in, right?
Yeah. If they're hard to hit, you've got a chance, haven't you? Because it's like I don't get hit a lot. If I can just get in and do my business without getting hit, but he's going to be there to be hit, isn't he? And it's
I mean, I agree. I mean, I have Makhmudov by stoppage. We've got also Fabio Wardley. He's Joseph Parker. He's a big underdog, Wardley. A big underdog. You could get like 5 to 1 almost on Wardley, which I think is a bit wide. Yeah,
in a 2-horse race, it's wide, isn't it? There's only two to choose from, which it sounds a bit wide. But after his last performance against Honey, wasn't it?
Justice Hooney, that's right.
Hooney, he pulled one out of the bag there, which the good ones do. Do you know what I mean? Like they find a way to win. But I'm thinking Parker might outbox him. Parker's on a bit of a roll.
But it's more to me. What's interesting, right, is Parker suddenly jumped up about 20 pounds. He looked huge. I know it's because he was out of shape and he was brought in. He hadn't even trained, but he just looked very big and very confident and very violent. But he's been hurt. He's been dropped. He's been stopped by Joyce. Another one that I won money on. But Wardley is fresh. He's fresh. And I can't stand that stupid, he's a white collar fighter. Oh, come on, man. Are you serious? Like, firstly, he did a few unlicensed. So what? You know what I mean? And a lot of these white collars are just like amateur fights, basically. But he was doing unlicensed without head guards, right? And so what? He's not white collar. He's a pro. He's a proper decent pro.
Yeah, that's all irrelevant now because he's proved his worth, hasn't he? It's not like he's not in the first half a dozen bouts. He's proved his worth. He was a solid British champion. He's gone up and he's sort of proved he belongs there now. They like to come out with the old white collar story because it's a bit of a backstory for him, but it's a bit irrelevant now because he's proved he deserves to be there. Do you know what I mean? And
it's cringe. They always repeat the same nonsense, don't they? Oh, it's Hammer. He's even now after he's too old now to beat Mike Tyson's record. They still go on about it. And like I'm like, look, and they keep on repeating the same thing. Oh, he started in white collar, Fabio. I said, I don't care where he started. I don't care when he started fighting in a pub in a pub car park. The man can fight. He can bang.
He's decent. He's decent, isn't he? He's
He
got a lot of
ironed
art
out,
as well.
what's his face? Fraser Clark, violently in a round, who is an extremely experienced guy. WBSS, he done the Olympic, you know, it really annoys me though, don't it? And cliches that come out.
Yeah, well, they grab hold of a line, don't they, and just keep sort of churning it out. It fills a few sentences for them in a lead up to a story. But it's decent. I think Parker might outpoint him, but he's definitely got a chance. I
think Parker's going to go. I don't know. There's something that tells me Parker, the big Parker, the big punching, violent Parker is going to. If he's clever, he will try and outbox Wardley because obviously that's his. You saw with Hooney, right? Hooney's a good fighter, but you saw with Hooney that he can be outboxed. But there's part of me that thinks at one stage Parker's going to start throwing bombs, and that's when it gets interesting.
Yeah,
either could go over.
Yeah, they're big blokes, aren't they? So they do fancy it sometimes. But be interesting.
Yeah. So Fergus says it's £25. What for Wardley? Really? It's a pay-per-view. Wardley V's. I mean, all these pay-per-views. Moses Itamovi's Dylan White was pay-per-view. That's crazy, right? 15 or 15.99 for that.
It's like I've heard people say, "Oh, you should pay it because boxers deserve everything they can get." But I mean, there should be like they're not pay-per-view bouts, are they? Like how we're led to believe what pay. That my understanding years ago was you was told that pay-per-view had to come in to get the best fighting the best. We need to have more money available so that we could say, like, we've got this much more money, we can get the best fighting the best. And you sort of think, oh, all right then, if that's what we've got to do. But now they pick a fighter and they now say this boxer is a pay-per-view boxer. So whoever he's up against, it's now pay-per-view. And it's a liberty, really. The only way you're going to change it is boycotting it. But no one does. Well, you get the streaming.
Well, I mean, people are a bit more clued up on streams and stuff and fire sticks, but there's still enough people that will pay. You know, I didn't for that one. And you look, if a fight is big enough and the undercard's good enough, I will pay pay-per-view. Why? Because I don't want to see the stream drop, and I want to comment on it. I want it to go. And also, I mean, there's part of me that thinks, you know, this is a great bill. I'm happy to pay for that. You know, but you know, when they have a poor undercard and or even the main event is not pay-per-view worthy, I'm like, nah, come on, man, I can't do that. I cannot do that.
They get a boxer and say, right, is pay-per-view worthy? Whoever the opponent is, it doesn't matter. You're paying to watch this particular person, and it don't really warrant it a lot of the time, does it? But I see this Peter Richards saying that Dave Allen's going to knock him out and stick around. It'd be good if he does. I hope he does. So,
I mean, the only reason I really like Dave, but Makhmudov, actually, I've looked at his Instagram. He's really gentle and sweet with his family and that. It's like no one really knows about him, but because I put 20 quid on him, so I've got to go for Makhmudov. But I would, you know, if Dave won, good on him. Okay, so Simon Hill asked a question: would Mark train John Coffey? By that, I think he means Daniel Dubois. With his old man involved that much?
It's a
hard question, right?
I think you would, because you train these high profile people and you just have an agreement that like you're in charge, the dad or whoever, the family member can have their input. I'll be very surprised if someone that high profile, people turn around and say, no, I wouldn't train him. They can say that when there's no chance of them ever getting offered it. But if you get offered someone like that, you take them on and take your chances. You know
well, I mean? the money has to be worth it. The hassle almost, doesn't it? You know. Yeah. But Dubois moved from a lot of trainers, hasn't he? He's moved a lot, hasn't he? I think as a person, I like Dubois, but I don't think he's got the minerals necessary for the real top.
No, I personally don't. But I think he's done well. I mean, he was a bit fortunate to get the title that he ended up getting, but he made the most of it. I
did not expect him to knock out AJ. I really didn't. I
No,
had this huge accumulator.
Yeah.
In the number 5, I got every single result down right on the points, the stoppage. I was just waiting for £250 for Joshua to knock out Dubois. I just thought the right hand. He'd just catch him with the right hand, and I was shocked, but it was exciting. It was an exciting
he done really
fight.
well. Really good performance. He looked good all the way through it. He looked like once the bell went, and in that first round, it was like he looked like he was going to win. I didn't think it. I thought AJ was going to bowl him over, sort of early doors. Really, I thought he's there to be it. AJ will go in, throw a few bombs, and within the first 3 rounds, it'll all be over. But it was the opposite, wasn't it? It was
true. I was shocked. Okay, Fergus goes, did Mark have any suspicions about Woody's gloves in the Fraser fight? I've never heard about any issue with the gloves. Did you hear anything?
I did. Not over here. Like the fights that are overseen by the Border Control. The glove tampering is so hard. I mean, I don't know what happens in other countries, but you've got the whip who holds onto the gloves. You've got an inspector watching you get gloved up. If they want someone from the other corner to come in and watch it, there's too many people there. Like, you might be able to come out with some old story about years ago they used to do this, that, and the other. But for one, I don't think it would happen nowadays realistically. And second, like, why bother? They're all earning too much money.
No, right, because if you get found out, that's your career done.
You
remember Louis Resto, he's Billy Collins. You remember that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. For example, that ruined Resto's career. It ruined Billy Collins's career. Unfortunately, he died in a car crash, and also the promoter or the trainer, or whatever, ruined his career. There's a lot to lose, isn't there? There's a lot to lose.
Everyone involved. It affected everyone involved. Billy Collins become an alcoholic, didn't he?
That was such a shame. 21-year-old lad. I mean, it is, really tragic, frankly, for a young lad of that age to have his career ruined. He turned to drink, didn't he? And he got in a car. I mean, that's real tragedy. And the people that were involved in that should. I've seen an interview with Resto, and I've seen. But it's almost like the guy who fixed the gloves just doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, it's that Resto. It was like he didn't know what was going on. It was like it. He was in the dressing room. The trainer was taking the stuffing out and all the rest of it, he just went with it. That's how it comes across. It wasn't necessarily sort of part of it. He just sort of went along with whatever they was doing. I think he said, I didn't even know what they was doing. Like, he probably twigged, but it was like, this is what they're doing, and I'm just the stooge in the ring. Do you know what I mean?
And like you said, in those days, the boxers would just obey the promoters, the managers, the trainers. They were almost a slave, weren't they? Like, to the promoters, the managers, and trainers. But it's different now. Okay, I've got a crazy fight for you. I'm asking this for the Breeding Bull. He sent me this. I don't know if he's online. Okay. Would you like to see, and who would win, Otto Wallin vs Hughie Fury? That's a crazy fight. Come on, bro. I'd pay ringside. I'd pay ringside for that. And I'd have to troll him. I'd say, hey, Otto, it's all about diversity. We all bleed the shame. I'd be at ringside trolling him, bro.
Yeah,
but generally,
not sure. It's not something I'm going to be rushing to watch, but
so sort of pay-per-view for Mark Massow. It's not Mark Massow's not paying pay-per-view for that. I'm paid ringside to watch that, brother. I will pay ringside to watch that.
It's Fury. Fury will fiddle his way through, I think. That's it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, Hughie Fury's had the weirdest career as well. Stop-start and like, didn't he win the World Junior Olympics, I think? And
sure.
He had a lot of. He's still only 30, although he looks about 65. But it's a weird career, isn't it? And he's been
a prospect. Like, he's one of these prospects, isn't he, that just goes on forever. Never
an
really
eternal prospect.
Just go on sort of being a prospect until they fizzle out. It's like, but he must have had a good couple of paydays. He's had a couple of title shots, and he's had a couple of good paydays. And
I think, yeah.
it's.
I mean, he's had a couple of good paydays. Look, you know, I do think with Huey, I think he's very likable as well. He comes across as quiet, likable. You know, you could say maybe he doesn't talk enough because it's like these days you need to create controversy, don't you? It's like that's why I like Jaya Opataya so much, because he's like, I can't be bothered with his interviews. And there's a recent interview, someone sent it to me, right, of him with Gareth Davis interviewing him, and Gareth Davis comes and goes, you know, Jai, listen, man, you know, you've got everything, you've got the 3 H's, right? You're humble, you're hurtful, and you fucking this, and I can't remember what he said. And Opataya just looks at him like he's the biggest twat in the world, and you can see the disdain in his face. He's looking at him going, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this clown? And you know, he'll do interviews, but he's not interested. He wants to fight. He's old school.
He don't want to play that game, does he? Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, and he's good enough at the moment to get away with being like that, isn't he? He don't have to come out with a gimmick. You know what I mean? Well, it's like, get me in there and I'll do my business in the ring. Do you know what I mean? And
I agree.
Good. Yeah,
he's definitely up there. He's awesome, but unfortunately, that will affect his purses and also if you base himself in the UK or America. And he doesn't want to. He wants to be with his family in Oz, which is completely understandable. Yeah. But, you know, he'll get the big promoters push, you know, they'd wheel him out and make him do all these stupid videos. And Ramirez, who's basically the only guy from a cruiserweight, right? Gilberto Ramirez, he will not fight him because his name isn't big enough and he's way too dangerous.
Yeah, they're going to have to get the Saudi money involved, aren't they? That's what will happen. How long it will take, I don't know. But there'll be negotiations going on behind the scenes because it'll be Saudi money. I think that's the only way that one's going to happen.
It has to be. And you know, De La Hoya, he's weirdo. He's creepy. But you know, have you seen his clapback Thursday? He's like so camp. I remember. You know, I watched one today. It's clapback Thursday with Oscar, and I was like, damn, Oscar, could you be any more camp, bro? Could you be any more weird? But it's quite funny as well.
It's funny. He's like, for someone he's done everything in boxing. Like as a boxer, he's like the top of the tree. Won the Olympics, won all these world titles. He's got more money than he's ever going to spend. And the things he comes out with on them videos, you just think like he's now meant to be a serious businessman. So he's gone from like. And he's done everything in boxing. He's still got his looks. He's still got his money. He could be like doing so much with himself, and he chooses to put up these videos. You look at them and you just think, what are you going on about? It's like
I think he's a child at heart, isn't he? He's a big child, isn't he? And to be honest, he was groomed for stardom since he was a kid. So he's sort of never. I mean, his background was working class, but I don't think it was like super tough. And you know, I just think he was always going to be a prospect, a massive prospect since he was a kid, and boxing. And he's never really. He's always been on that. It's like Michael Jackson, you know, from the age of 5, he was groomed to be a star. He didn't know nothing else.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he's done commentary out of his nut, hasn't he? Like,
fucking cocaine's a terrible drug, bro, and I mean that seriously. It's a terrible drug. It ruins so many people. But don't let Oscar near the kitchen utensils, whatever you do. I mean, someone forwarded me that video. I was like, oh, come on, man. Okay, what the F? I mean, we've already got the things with him in a dress and all that. And I remember when he's out in the boxing gloves, and everyone goes, oh, it's nonsense. That's bad Photoshop. I go, listen, it's either an excellent Photoshop, but that is him. That's his body. Yeah. Now, why he agreed to dress up in a pair of fucking suspenders and wearing boxing gloves, I have no idea. Cocaine is a terrible drug. You know?
He's at the time he was denying it and saying it was photoshopped, but he's come out now and said no, it was me. He's sort of like
it was so obvious, wasn't it? Though.
Yeah,
we all knew, and we all know he's creepy. But he's one of the weirdest characters. Okay. What was my next question? What about big prospects coming up in the UK especially? So, you know, I quite look at Pat Brown, although he's a bit easy to hit. He's going to sell tickets. Is he going to go to world class? Who else is there? Like Aaron Bowen looks okay, but guys like
Yeah.
Cameron Vaughn, Janae Boston,
Oh, yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Tom Welland, he's already been shown up. He was knocked out by a journeyman. Dan Toward, is that his name? He was also knocked out. Who's coming up in Britain that you like?
I don't know, because it's like they I wouldn't not necessarily rush them like that. They know what they're doing, these people behind them, but sometimes you think they're trying to get their money back quicker than maybe they need to. Do you know what I mean? Like Adam Azim, I mean, he's up there now, but I felt like he was being rushed because Sky needed a headliner, and he should have been on the undercard being built up, but instead,
True. Simon said,
Boxer needed, Adam Azim. So Boxer needed a headliner, so he was thrown up as their headliner when really he should have been like on the undercard, building his way up. I mean, he's done well now. He's sort of got there now, hasn't he? So it don't.
I mean, I think he's beyond prospect stage now, though. Adam Azim.
Yeah. Now he's got there. He's made it now. But on the way up, I thought they were sort of rushing him a bit.
But a lot of these guys, they like to build early. Oh, this guy is amazing. He's just sitting there, and then you're like, and I look at him, I'm like, do I know nothing about boxing? There's no way Cameron Vaughn, Sinead Boston are going to make it to world class. There is no way on earth, in my opinion. I can be proved wrong. I've been, we're all been wrong. But Peter Richards, who's been very generous, who comments a lot. If Shiraz fights Canelo, Shiraz beats him comfortably. What do you think about that? I don't agree.
They're not going to fight this year. So if it was going to happen, it's going to be next May. So that's another 9 months. Canelo's older, but even 9 months between now and May, I think Canelo will still be favourite.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Shiraz, obviously, we all know, is a bit of a golden goose because he's got the potential to sell. He's easy sell. He's tall. He's handsome or whatever. He appeals to the Asian community, all that kind of stuff. He's a nice puncher. But I put a lot of money on Adames, and even during the fight, I'm like, I can't believe they got Adames. Clearly won that. He lost 1 round at the most, and it was disappointing. But now he's moved up in weight. He did look good against Berlanga.
Yeah, he looked better, didn't he? Yeah, he looked better. That he sort of he got away with that Adames fight, didn't he? He got away with it. He nicked a draw somehow. I mean, I don't know how, but he's nicked a draw, learning curve, draw a line under it. He's moved up a weight, and it might be the making of him. He might have a title fight this time next year. Canelo might be out of the game by then.
I mean, Shiraz, he's with Queensbury, right? I would, I know he's gold, and I'd be careful with him. But if the money comes up, you got to take the money, and if you get paid 30 million to fight Canelo, you have to take it, right?
Yeah,
I would lean towards Canelo at this point. But I don't know what your time's like. Can you do another half an hour? I mean, I could talk to you forever.
I can go to our past. So
half past, that's perfect. Exactly. So we've got another 20-25 minutes. So if you've got any questions for Mark Massow, a pro trainer who really knows his shit, then ask. But okay, so we had a question about Nick Ball. What are your thoughts on Nick Ball?
I think he's good. I like him. I think he's good. But it's I think he's going to have a short peak. I like him, but I don't think he's going to like that style. He's all about energy, and he come forward. He gives away masses in height. I know, it's not affecting him at the moment, but I think he's going to be on the scene. And then once he gets beat, I think it'll be a quick downfall. But
no,
he's good.
I couldn't agree more. And I've said that in videos. I go, he's going to have a short career. He reminds me, I mean, differently. It's going to be like Paul Hodgkinson. You remember Paul Hodgkinson?
Yeah.
I love that. He was exciting, but once he did lose to Vargas, actually, didn't he? When his face got all busted up. But after that, you just knew he'd have a short career. And guys like McGuigan, I mean, even Hatton had decent longevity, but someone with that kind of style, that come forward style, they rely on fitness, youth, and energy, don't they?
Yeah, Barry McGuigan. Same. Come up, steaming through the ranks.
Yeah.
They get there and they can't. They get to the top. They've bashed their way to the top, being a bit blunt about it all. And they generally don't stay there very long. But I mean, good luck to him. He's hit the peak at the right time because of the Saudi money, so he's done well. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, good on him.
Yeah, he's doing well. But I do think he's good. But I don't think 18 months time, is he still going to be where he is? Probably not.
And he's not the puncher they make out, right?
No, he's he
can punch, but he's aggressive, but he's not. Only about half his wins are actually stoppages.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not the massive punch. Oh, he's the miniature white Mike Tyson. Why do they always have to call everyone the white? Why is everyone becoming the white Mike Tyson if they come forward fighter? You remember? I think there's even a pro. Was it Dennis? There was that Russian guy who was Dennis something, and he ended up getting stabbed or shot or something. Something weird happened, and they were like, he actually called himself the white Mike Tyson. What's his name? Dennis. Scheiße. Oh, I hate this. I hate when I'm getting old, bro.
Yeah.
Dennis Boytsov.
Oh, right.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, I remember.
I thought he was going to go far,
Yeah.
but something happened, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. He just disappeared, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think he lost one fight that he was meant to win, and then he got in some. He either got attacked or stabbed or shot. Something weird happened. And he just dropped out. I mean, that happens in boxing, Yeah. Boxing's like normal life. Weird stuff happens, you can get tipped up. Railway, we have answered this, but again, thoughts on Dave Allen vs Arslan Mahmoud. What do you just give us a prediction?
Yeah, no, I'd like to see Allen win. If he's going to, is it realistically, what's it going to be in the first 7 rounds? But I think the other fella will end up coming out on top. But be good if Dave Allen can win. He's deserves another payday. You know what I mean? Push on, go on from there. But
I would lean towards him getting stopped in round 8 or something. Yeah. I think it's a 12-rounder as well, which is who will that benefit? Well, it probably benefit Allen actually being a 12-rounder, but if you get bashed up and marked up, I don't think he's ever been dropped, has he, Allen?
Not that I know. Not that
I think he's been stopped, but been retired or ref stopped. Yeah, very good chin. Very good chin. Very good chin. So yeah, please, if you've got any more questions, we've got another 15 minutes of mark. So if you've got any more questions, please ask. Let me see if I have any more. I had a couple of red pill questions. Right. Like when Trump was here, yeah? So there was a bunch of people, I can't remember what their name are, and they put on Windsor Castle, they projected Trump and Epstein, the whole 9-minute video of him chatting to him and laughing with him and all that. Now, I think everyone is controlled who gets to the top anyway. But these guys got nicked. They spent 24 hours in custody. They got all their equipment taken. And, there's no case there, right? And it's just a typical example of it was almost fascism, man. It's like it's for malicious communication. Well, actually, what he did was put a video of him talking to it. It was very weird. That it's amazing how they control what you can say.
Oh, it's just terrible, isn't it? And it's like people sort of fall for the left and right, and they die. And I just
the false dichotomy.
Yeah, it's all like they're all picking sides and arguing with each other, and they're not taking it out on the people that are actually having an effect on their life. It's like you've got a water leak. They're moaning at the water and not stopping the leak. It's like you can keep having a go at the water all you like. That they're not the problem. Do you know what I mean? The water's not the problem. It's the big hole in your wall.
Right.
That's
I like that. That's good metaphor. Yeah.
It's like all this water coming over here, nicking our jobs, and everyone's having a go at the water on the floor, but you need to address the hole in the wall type thing. And which is the politicians from our point.
Right.
We know about there's people above them and they're just doing what they're told. But from our point of view, the people that we can confront, if you like, are the people on the shop front which is the politicians. They're the ones people should be addressing when they've got problems. But they just, everyone falls for the left-right thing.
It's theatre, isn't it? It's theatre as well.
Yeah.
It's like people like to. I always say like this: like, unfortunately, the majority of people don't realise how complex the world is. They want to know. They like watching kids watching Star Wars. The good guys and the bad guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you're right wing or left wing, allegedly, because it's all bullshit anyway.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
but they'll choose a side and they will stick with that side, regardless of what information they get. Cognitive dissonance, that's what it's called, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
And confirmation bias. They will look for confirmation bias to confirm their beliefs, and they get manipulated. It's tragic to me.
Oh, and another thing that happens is if it's on telly, they don't need any proof because it was on telly. If you try and tell someone that they're lying, and that you have to come up with all this proof that they're lying, and you have to give them all these sources and say, I've read this article, I've seen this video, and there's my proof. Whereas if it's on telly, that is the proof. And you're like, yeah, but they're lying. And it's well, how do you know they're lying? It's like, because of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, or whatever. But they don't have to come up with any proof as long as it's on telly. Whereas if you go against what's on telly, you have to give them an encyclopedia.
And look what was on telly: weapons of mass destruction. That Bin Laden was in a huge underground cave built in a mountain. How did they get the fucking? I remember seeing that. I thought, how the fuck are they expecting us to believe they got all this drilling equipment? The middle of Afghanistan drilled a fortress. Then there's like, obviously Jimmy Savile was a saint and did so much for charity. There's there's so many lies they've rolled out, but people just forget them. Oh, they just got it wrong.
The thing they get you on, they say, oh yeah, everyone knows that the politicians are lying, and as soon as you try and point it out to me, oh no, it wouldn't lie about that. It's like, what? And they go, well, what are they getting out of it? It's like, we could explain what they're getting out of it, but you admit they're lying. But as soon as I tell you an example of them lying, you're like, oh no, they wouldn't lie about that. It's like, well,
it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy, and I totally agree. But like to guys like you and I don't know, and a lot of the viewers and my subscribers, like, we know, but it's frustrating, and I still don't stop trying to explain to people. But once you realise you've hit that brick wall, it's like there's no point. Occasionally, you'll get a spark in someone. They'll be like, "Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting," and they will, and they're like partially clued up, and you just open the door for them and go and have a look, go and have a look.
Yeah,
because you've got to find everything out yourself, don't you? You can't. You got to find it out yourself.
Yeah, because it's like I've made the mistake in the past of, like, you try and talk to people about things that come up and you say, that's all a load of nonsense, and they're like, what? What are you coming out with now? And you think by banging on about it, you're going to turn them sort of into like not one of you, but you're going to get them thinking about things. But it doesn't work like that. They'll either agree with you or they'll go away and find out in their own time. Most of the time, they won't agree with you.
They'll just watch Strictly Come Dancing and football.
Yeah.
EastEnders.
I mean, this digital ID stuff, it's like people just don't understand how bad it is.
It's insane. It's everywhere.
I know. People just don't get how bad it is. Do you know what I mean? But you got the way I can sort of describe it is, if a Jehovah's Witness knocked on my door and just started preaching to me, would I go, oh yeah, that makes sense, I'll become one of you? I wouldn't. You would only go down that road if you do your own research and
people always look for, they don't listen to you generally, they'll just look for holes in your argument, won't they?
Yeah.
Go, oh, but what about this, what about this, what about, they'll try and disprove your argument. I'm like, well, just go and have a fucking look, bro. Go and have a fucking look. Okay, we've got like 10 minutes left, so we finish off on some boxing. Firstly, can you tell the viewers about your gym, so if they can come and train with you? Because obviously you've kindly come.
I've got a little gym. I had a bigger concern in Chelmsford Town Centre, but when all the nonsense went on a few years back, my lease was up and I downsized and moved that. So I'm now in a little place called Great Leys, which is on the edge of Chelmsford. My website is sweetsciencestudio.com. So it's www.sweetsciencestudio.com. all the details on there.
SweetScienceStudio.com. So check it out, please.
Yeah.
And you do, I see you do PTs and you've obviously got pros, but you do.
So, the personal training stuff, I get the public coming in, they book in with me. It's generally boxing based. It's a little boxing gym on the edge of Chelmsford. They come to me. I get amateurs coming in, want extra training. The general members of the public just book in with me, do a bit of training. Any boxers looking to turn over, go pro, even if they don't go with me, they can come along. I'll have a chat with them, just tell them sort of how the system works to get them started. They ain't got to sign with me or anything, but a lot of them, they don't get how it all works. They
unfortunately, not as many people are as real as you, Mark, and as honest as you.
They don't understand, like, unless you're signed to a promoter with a television contract, you're selling tickets, and they don't get how many they've got to sell. They don't understand it, and it's a lot. It's so for a 6-rounder, if the show's not on telly and you're boxing out of the home corner,
you got to pay for him.
Yeah. So
you got to pay for the opponent.
Yeah. So at the moment, you're selling around $6.5 grand worth of tickets to get on the. No, sorry, $3.5 grand worth. I'm talking about. I was thinking about saying. So you're selling upwards of £3,500 worth of tickets to get on the show. So that's not what you earn. That's gets you on the show. $3.5 grand worth of tickets, and that's, you might do it at first. You know, people want to see what you're all about, but it's hard to keep doing it, keep that momentum going. Do you know what I mean? It's an hard.
The problem is because all these kids and they're amateurs and I want to go pro, and I'm like, no, don't bother, man. I said, listen, only go pro if you do something good in the amateurs and sign with a big promoter. Otherwise, it's a very tough game, and you're going to have to break your balls running around selling tickets. But all people hear is, you know, big name fighters and huge purses because unfortunately you're young, you're naive. I mean, I didn't understand how boxing worked until I was older, you know, and it's a very hard to be a small hall fighter is extremely hard, and then that's why you get all these people that you know, you remember Nobby Knobs fighters, so they used to earn a bit of money, but they used to have to get beaten up or lose week in, week out. And try not to get stopped so that they can fight within 28 days again.
I know it's hard. It's hard. Like, I get why they want to turn pro. You know, they're into boxing and they want to go to the next level, try and make it. But it's hard to make it. You got to keep selling them tickets, and then you hope a bigger promoter spots you. It happened to Sam Egerton. He turned pro selling tickets. He got picked up. Josh Warrington, I think, off the top of my head, he was selling tickets. He got picked up by a big promoter. So it does happen, but it's few and far between. For how many are out there on the circuit, not many get picked up by the big
does
promoter.
Look glamorous though, don't it? You know, from the outside, especially if you're a young amateur, you know, and you put it all in, you know, your life into boxing, then obviously for a lot of people it's like, I want to go pro and I want to do this, I want to make money, and I want to and you know what, and there's so many pros that have made so much money that end up broke and unfortunately a bit punchy, and they go on too long, and it's the toughest way to earn money, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's hard. But the ticket, there's a lot of decent amateurs that they can't go pro because they can't sell the tickets. They're not good enough at an early stage to get signed by the big promoters. So they would have to work their way up on the small hall scene, and they just can't sell the tickets. There's a few out there that do well. They sell enough tickets. They've got a good following from their amateur days, and they've brought them over, and they do well out of it. But enough of them are buying up their own tickets just to get on.
And also,
show.
like, and also, like, you get people go, oh yeah, of course I'll come to your fight. Then you're like, all right, okay, I'm boxing next week. You get a couple of tickets, no problem. Then you come to them for the money. Oh mate, you know, can I pay you after? And that kind, you know, you'll get people waiting outside the bloody boxing hall trying to, when their mates come and go, have you got that money for the tickets?
I know.
Oh mate, I'll pay you after. You know, they're not paying for their own tickets.
Yeah, it happens on most small hall shows. There'll be at least a boxer on there buying his own tickets because they've got to the day of the fight. They've got to the day where the ticket money's got to be handed in, and they're short. And it's like, I've done all that training. I've run around selling a quantity of tickets, but I'm X amount short. I'm going to have to buy them myself rather than hand back all the others.
Yeah, right. Otherwise, I'd pulled off the bill. Okay, Boxing Classics. This is quite a deep question. We've got 5 more minutes. What do you think of Dana White trying to change the Ali Act? That's a big question, right?
I don't. I know he's got a lot of money behind him, and money talks, but will he end up just going off in his own direction as opposed to changing anything? I don't know. I don't think he's gonna.
I don't think he realizes that his model is not going to work in boxing. He managed to get there early and get a monopoly, and basically, look, MMA is UFC. You might get PFL, you might get what is called First or whatever, but the reality is, in the world, UFC is the only real MMA promotion, and they don't pay their guys well either. It's well known, and I don't think he realizes that there are big differences in boxing with all the organizations, the regulations, the legal stipulations. It's not something he can roll into and take over. You know.
I think it'd be hard. I mean, he might have he's going to have a load of money behind him, and he'll come up with his version of like what he thinks works, but it just becomes too difficult. The way the sport's set up, there's so many different people want a bit of the action, don't they? Do you know what I mean? There's so many sort of bodies and councils and God knows what else. It's just so hard to sort of,
and corruption, and you know, you got to butter up the right people, you got to scratch the right backs. It's not, you can't just walk in there. Well, if you've got a lot of money, you can, I guess, but Turkey will have surely made a massive loss on all this. There's a bigger picture there, in it, to promote Saudi as a new center for events, right? You know, there's a bigger. So he's got all the purse strings, but he's not looking to make a profit, is he? He just wants to bring the events, don't he?
No, but, exactly. It's an advert for the area, isn't it? Really, they're hemorrhaging money, like as an advert for the area. How long it will go on for, I don't know. But have they got
we'll see.
Funds? I don't know.
And the thing is, boxing is the one that's easier to control with money, because you can't start setting up big football matches. You got to deal with FIFA. You got to do, you know, you can't set up. They've tried to set up football leagues up, but it doesn't really work, right? Because there's two, you know, the structure there. But boxing is kind of unstructured, isn't it, in many ways? So, okay, can we have one more final question for Mr. Mark Massow? By the way, you're looking at great shape, bro. Do you still train hard?
What's that?
That was your dog. I just said you're looking great. You look in great shape.
No, I do a little bit. I tick over. I don't go mad in the gym, but I do tick over. I do my own little bit when I get a chance. Yeah, I do a little bit, and not nothing like to brag about, but I just tick over nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, God bless you. I mean, thank you for being on the show. Is there anything else you want to say? You want to add? I mean, obviously, remember. Okay, tell me about the website again.
Yeah, so my website is sweetsciencestudio.com. My contact details are on there. Any unattached pros that just want to have a chat with me, just or amateurs looking at pro, I'll just go through it. You ain't got to sign with me or anything. I can just sort of tell you how it works. I'm based in Essex.
And Mark is obviously clued up on boxing. You're also published in Boxing News as a journalist.
Yeah, I used to do the occasional guest column on there. I don't do it at the moment. They changed the setup of the magazine, so they stopped having a guest column. I don't know if it's something that they're going to start up again. That they're aware that I'm available if it's something they start up again. But at the moment, they're having a change around with their format. They've got because now they've got Graham Houston is the editor, but they've now got
that's right. Oliver Fennell, is that right?
Yeah, he's like an assistant. Right. I have heard from him over the last month or so, and so they've changed the way they're sort of running the magazine. So maybe in future, he's saying I'll start up again, but at the moment, it's not sort of in their plans.
Yeah. But so, right, anybody who's interested in turning pro or training, Mark Massow's your man. He knows his boxing. He's honest. He's red-pilled. He's clued up. check him out. They can also get you on Instagram. Give us your Instagram.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Massow_boxing. Massow
Right.
boxing, basically. Massow boxing. I was on Facebook, but my account got hacked by a fella in Chicago, and he hacked my account.
What?
He then changed the name to who's the bloke that played Superman? Harry something. Harry.
I only know Christopher Reeve.
Yeah, that's the one I knew. But apparently there was a new Superman, Harry something. And because he hacked my account, and because he changed it to a celebrity's name, Facebook deleted it for impersonating a celebrity. So, and since that happened, I've never gone back on there. But I'm on Instagram.
Yeah, so Massow_boxing on Instagram.
Massow boxing. Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I could talk to you forever. One day, I hope I can come down and train.
Yeah.
Hit the pads. Yeah, have you seen my training video?
I did. I see it. Yeah, I see.
What did you think? Be honest. What did you think?
No, I was just looking good. You put it up, and at first I didn't know it was you, and I thought, "What's this video you put up?" And then I realised it was you. I was like, "Oh, blimey, yeah, no, you're looking all right. He's looking all right."
Well, I've only been training back in the gym for a month when that was done, and I've been on the piss for I've been like 2 weeks solid. So I thought I'd done all right.
Yeah, that's it. But you're looking good. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, look, it'd be great to meet in person, to hit the pads, visit the gym. I could do a little piece on it. You know, I'm not far away, so it's not. It's something we can organise. I'll talk to you on Insta, and thank you so much for coming on. God bless you. I wish you the best with Peter and everyone else.
Yeah.
So take care.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Take care, mate. Thank you.
All the best. Cheers. Thanks.
Cheers, bro.
Boom.
Yeah, so thanks so much to Mark. That was really good. I hope everyone found it very interesting. I've got to say thank you to all the generous people. Without further ado, Retro with £2. Thank you, brother. Fergus, $4.99. Enjoy this, fellas. Yeah. Big up boxing coaches. Yeah. Henry Armstrong with a very generous $19.99 super sticker, not super shekel sticker. And Tinto Brass Balls with the £10. Thank you. Big up to Barrymore's pool party. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. And it's great to hear from someone who is, so involved at the grassroots in boxing. So thank you so much, Mark. It was a pleasure. And God bless you all. Peace in the Middle East.